Hello, everyone.
Hello, bro.
How are we doing?
Doing amazing. We got Philip, Vanya, Karel, Vasilie, nearly all Serbians here.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
everyone.
All right, Vanya, bro. Get well soon, brother.
For sure, man.
What up, guys? What have you been working on for this week?
For this week, just doing a bunch of outreach and client delivery. That's all.
Outreach and client delivery.
Yep.
Client acquisition and client delivery, basically.
Yeah, basically. I'm also supposed to upload some content that I filmed last week, so I need to just upload it this week on YouTube.
Your content?
Yeah, my content, personal.
Oh, you filmed a YouTube video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would love to hear that. Send it over so we can review it together.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, what about other guys? Vasilia, bro, what have you been working on this week?
I was doing some projects for a client, and tonight, like maybe after this call, I will have a call with my client, and I will try to make the higher price for my videos. Yeah, I need to do that because I feel like I'm doing this for free because
Yeah.
I'm doing uh so many videos for such a low price,
Yeah,
and I did it of because I wanted to just do many videos and like
Like
go into
practice.
that when
Yeah,
I
to prove
started,
the
yeah,
concept.
practice. But now I need money for education, for better setup, lighting, and everything. Because I filmed and I edited my first video for my content, but I will try to edit one or two more like this type of videos than two interviews that I had like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I will schedule that for the whole next week, and then I will have the plans for the future.
Yeah,
Like,
bro. Yeah, guys, when you have your own videos edited and recorded, send them over to community so we can review them together. That way, we can, in the same time, help you and give you feedback on your editing and on your messaging in the same time, which is, great.
yeah, sounds good.
All right, boys, Vanya, Karl, if you guys can mute, let us know what have you been working on. If not, we can hop into the call. Vasilia, bro, after this call, you will be closing that client 100%.
I really
Also,
want that.
also, Vasilia, you said you wanted to charge higher. Is that right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to send you a video that I watched literally yesterday that changed my mindset on charging higher. So I'm gonna send the link here in the chat. So I basically watched that video, and literally just got motivation to charge like so much higher. Like obviously you're not gonna be able to charge higher immediately, but what he's saying is very true. Like if you, for example, it's all about finding people who make so much money that they just don't care about paying you like 2K. Because for example, the speaking client that I closed, he pays me 2K a month, but he makes like 30K just off 1 hour of speaking. Like he spends 1 hour and he makes enough money to pay me for the entire year. Like he just doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like obviously he cares about getting the results, but he won't mind paying you 2K, 5K, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So just watch that video. It's gonna change your mindset. It did change mine a little. So yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's the
Thank you,
thing.
thank you.
I answered to someone in the community. I'm not sure who it was, but that's the whole point. Like, especially when you want to charge like 2K, 3K, you don't want to work with people who make like 10K a month or something like that. Because, if that guy gives you $2,000 a month, he's gonna be, very worried about the results you can get him. And if he's making like 100,000 a month and he's giving you like 2K, It's like, whatever you do, it's just fine. And at the same time, when you're charging higher, it increases the likelihood of them actually buying because they believe it's more valuable simply because it's a higher price, nothing else. Yeah, we'll let you guys my experience with charging higher and with sales and everything here. Ayush, my man, glad to have you here, bro.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I won't be able to turn my camera on right now.
All right,
But
bro.
I didn't want to miss this one.
Yeah, you don't want to miss this one, guys. Trust me, it's about sales. Let me share my screen right away. Let me hop in. Just a second, guys. Yeah, guys, let me know if you can see this.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So today we will cover sales. So sales fundamentals, sales script, what to talk about on the call, how to talk about it, and all the stuff. Now, keep in mind, sales is just the very last step of client acquisition. The last step, basically. You need to have everything else in place before the sales in order for sale to occur. And if you have everything else set up in place the right way, this entire process, everything you can see here, will be literally 10 times easier. Literally, because if you have the right messaging, if you have pre-call process, if you have all the things dialed in and set up in place, all of this here will be literally 10 times easier. Because when you hop on a call with a guy who exactly knows what you do, how you do it, who you are, what are the results, and all those things, when he hop on a call, he's literally ready to buy. He just, wants to hop on a call to ask a couple of questions just to see if it's the perfect fit. And that's it. You don't have to go through this entire sales process. But yeah, that's for the beginning. If you have everything else behind the sales setup in place, it will make this entire process 10 times easier. Now, before we hop into the actual sales script and everything I have here, I first want to introduce you to some sales fundamentals that are really crucial here for you to understand, to kind of change your mindset before we go into the script and all the technical stuff. So first thing with sales, you need to understand that you're not trying to sell everyone that exists. You're literally helping the person you hopped on a call with to make a decision that's best for them, not that's best for you, that's best for them. Even if that decision is not working with you, if that's the best decision for them, you want to help them make that decision. If you shift your mind from trying to sell everyone to trying people help make a decision, you will enter the call differently, basically. That's one of the biggest beliefs that changed the way I do sales and changed everything for me because, not trying to sell, you're trying to help them make a decision. Now, second thing, in sales, we first want to figure out their pain and then help them make the first step towards the right direction. So what I mean by that is, why do we want to figure out their pain? Because in life, basically, for people, for humans, we have two main motivators for human behavior. We have pain and desire. If you think about it, anything you do, you either do it because you want to get to a better place or you want to leave, you want to run away from pain. Basically, those are two main motivators. But pain is a lot stronger motivator. To give you an example, let's say that you have a person that's smoking, for example, cigarettes, and you say, bro, if you stop smoking, you will be able to run faster, you will be healthier, your lungs will be healthier, you will have all these benefits, you're not going to have a headache every day and all those things, compared to, bro, if you don't stop smoking, you'll get a lung cancer and you will die. So what's a bigger motivator there? You can see pain is always bigger motivator, stronger motivator. And that's what we want to do here. We want to help people understand their pain and actually remind them of their pain to motivate them to take the first step into the best direction. That's what we were actually trying to help people. That's what you need to understand. Third thing, sales is not a manipulation. Now, this is one of the beliefs that for me was kind of like I was thinking with all the sales tactics and all that. isn't that like I'm manipulating people into trying to work with me? Because, I'm sure you guys also thought about that at least once, like with sales tactics and all that objection handling, that you're kind of manipulating people to, work with you. And it's not. The point with sales is to see whether or not we're actually able to help those people, whether or not they're actually good fit for us. Like, to see whether or not we can actually work together, if they're good fit for us, if we are good fit for them, and to eventually help them go to a better place. That's what we're trying to do here. Next thing. The thing you need to understand about sales is that sales call is your call. So the thing that when I was hopping on sales calls, and guys, like I don't have like a crazy experience here. I'm not like a Hormozy who had like 4,000 closes and something like that, some crazy. But I have a decent experience. Like I hopped on like 50 to 100 sales calls. I closed 3K deals, 4K deals, 1K deals, 5K deals. So, I can say I'm pretty experienced at this. I'm not the biggest expert in the world, but, I have pretty good experience with this. Johan, what's up, man? Good to have you here.
Hello. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah, so what I was saying. Yeah, this is your call. When you hop on a sales call, you want to be in the control of the call. They are trying to buy from you, or to put it in better words, you are trying to help them. They are trying to see if you can help them. So you're in the position of authority here because you're trying to help them. They have a problem, not you. Like without them or with them, your life will be fine, but they need you, to solve the problem. That's how you need to think about this. Now, you need to always hop on a call with the expectation that you will close. That's what you want to do. Like you want to believe it that you will close. And the thing is, if you don't collect the money on the call, because I've been seeing a lot of you guys say that, yeah, close the deal, I just need to collect the money or something like that. If you do not collect the money on that call, that's not a close. And most likely you will never, ever hear from that person again. Like this happened to me so many times, but the guy seemed so trustworthy. Like he seemed like a genuine dude. He will genuinely hop on a follow-up call and reach out to me again and send the money. Just if you hop off the call, you didn't get the money, just think as if you will never hear from that guy again. That's the expectations you want to have. Now, when people hop on these calls, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about people that will hop with you on the calls, they only think about themselves. You always need to keep that in mind. They are just thinking, what are they getting out of this? So that's why you want to leave this thing, and you don't want to talk about the things they're gonna, like the things that you will do, you will get for them and all that. You want to talk about things that they will get. And I'll get to that in more detail later when we go through the script. But just know that they are only thinking about themselves. That's it. What are the benefits they're getting out of this? 7th thing. People seek to be understood, not understand. What I mean by that is a lot of times we try to, and I don't know, guys, if you had experience with sales calls, but we think that if people understand what are we talking about, that will be enough basically for them to trust us enough and to eventually buy from us. But the thing is that people do not seek to understand, but to feel understood. Key thing here. They're trying to feel understood. They're trying to find someone who can actually understand them. Because a lot of times when you hop on calls with a guy, he's been talking to like 5 more guys instead, like next to you, like 5 more guys, and all of them are kind of, saying things that he understands, but none of them seems like, none of them makes that prospect feel like he's being understood. That makes sense. But yeah.
Can you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yeah. What do you mean? Like specific example? Yeah. So when I was like one of the clients that I closed, and he was like unusual guy, I would say, and the thing he wanted to do is post 300 to 500 pieces of content a month. That's what he was trying to do. And we were in sales call and we're, talking, everything feels good. And when I asked him the question, yeah, and how many videos do you want to post per month? And he's like, bro, that question, when all the guys before you asked me that question, when I dropped the number, I never hear from them again. I want to post between 300 and 500 pieces of content a month. And I was like, okay, let me just do the math. That's this many videos a day. So we need this many people, blah, 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 and all those things. It's perfectly possible. It's doable. Wow. And he was like, bro, I can't believe I found someone who can actually understand me, because the thing he was trying to do is find an agency that can do that for him. And then eventually he realized that no agency is willing to produce 500 videos a month. And then he realized, well, I'm just going to do it on my own. Can I just find someone who can give me the team? I'm going to manage the team. I'm going to do it all by myself. I just need a team of trained people. And that's what we came into play, basically to give him the people, the editors, the team that he's going to manage to produce that many videos a month. So that's kind of like practical example from my own experience, because he feel understood, because it was the perfect match between what he wanted and what we were offering, basically. Because we already understood that people that want to create a lot of content, there's not going to be a lot of agencies out there that are willing to produce that many videos a month. So that's a problem for them. And we created a solution that makes them feel understood. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Okay, so can I just elaborate? So
Yeah.
basically, instead of trying to tell him, like, hey, the reason we can't do this many videos a month is because blah 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 whatever, and trying to make him understand, you basically try to understand him and give him a solution to
Exactly. You're trying to understand him, not them to understand you. Why are you able to do it? But you're trying to understand them.
Okay, but what if, let's say, you understand why they want that many videos a month, but like you cannot produce that many videos a month? What happens then? Do you just like end the deal, or?
Well, the whole point is that you need to find a way you need to actually be able to, do that,
Okay.
Just
So
don't promise something you can't actually deliver on, but you get the point.
Okay, got it. Thank you, man.
Yeah, bro. Thing number 8, discovery is where the sale is made. So basically, while I'm going through the script, I'm going to tell you guys about a few. How much did you close this deal for? For 5K. And the guy even said, when I dropped the price and I was like, and for all that, it's 5K, he was like, haha, bro, you gotta charge more than that. I'm gonna try to get the recording of that, and I'm gonna send that in the community later if I find the recording of that call. But yeah, I was like, I should have said 10K or something like that. But yeah, discovery is where the sale is made. That's what I was saying. So basically, throughout the sales call, we have a couple different basically stages that we're going through. First one is discovery, basically. Then we have transition, and then we have pitch. That's those kind of the 3 main stages we have in the sales call. And discovery is where the sale is made. And discovery is basically all the questions that we will ask to figure out their exact current position and situation right now. It's not the pitch that makes or breaks the sale, it's the discovery. If you do discovery correctly, you can easily then make a sale. But if you do poorly in discovery, like, you can have the greatest pitch, most of the time it will end up in no close.
Discovery is the part, obviously you're going to explain it later, but like discovery is the part where you just discover what specific outcome they want, the problems.
All the things about them. Discover, you're trying to discover things about them. Yeah, thing number 8, and these are, from now on, these are a little bit more technical stuff. So right all the way up until now, I was talking about more mindset things you need to understand. And now, first thing you want to understand, always hop on a call calm, certain, with no emotional baggage from the day. So whether you were stressed, tired, happy, whatever happened before that moment, you want to just forget that and you hop on a call. Like, you know, those are certain traits you want to have when you hop on a call. You want to feel certain, calm, like, you know, you don't want to feel frustrated and all that, because all those things are going to transfer basically into the way you talk, the way you ask questions, the way you make a pitch, and it's going to be just a big mess. Thing number 10, never be late. Like, this is a big thing, actually. Like, never ever be late. So if you have a call scheduled for 6 p.m., what I like to do and what you need to do on 6:00, like when the clock, you know, ticks to the exact time when the call starts, you want to start the call at that second. Like, literally, you want to get there, you know, at least 5-10 minutes before the call, and just wait for the clock to tick the exact time where the call should start, and just start it in the second. Always, never be late. Your client, he can be late a couple minutes or something, but you never want to be late. It instantly, like, speaks that you're unorganized, that you don't care about him. Just never do that. And the last thing before we get into this entire script, this rule, like, this is the study that I actually pull out from the Google. The communication and the things that actually influence how people perceive you. The rule states that only 7% of the meaning is communicated through the spoken word. So the words you say have the least meaning of how people are going to perceive what you're saying. So the words have the least meaning. 38% goes through the tone of what you're saying, so through your tonality, and 55% through body language. So when you're talking on a Zoom call like this, body language cannot be, you know, you cannot, you know, stand and talk with them so they can see like your entire body and all that, your body language. But, you know, with your hands, with your facial expressions and all that, you can, you know, figure out the body language. But tonality is super big, super important thing in sales. Like, it literally makes or breaks things. Like, because of the words and questions, you can ask the exact same question. If you ask it in a different tone, it's going to be completely different. If I ask you, you know, bro, why are you not able to figure that out on your own? Kind of like, you know, asking him, bro, are you stupid? And if I ask him with a curious tone, with worried, confused tone, yeah, bro, but like, why exactly are you not able to figure this out on your own? Like, you see the difference? It's exactly the same sentence, exactly the same feeling you get. So tonality is more important actually than the words you speak. Guys, before I hop in the script, do you have any questions regarding these sales fundamentals before we get into the actual script?
Yeah, regarding tonality, are you going to speak on stuttering?
What do you mean? Like
just start using the stuttering to kind of sound more natural, just to, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's one of the things about tonality. Like, you wanna, like, tonality is the thing that you wanna train, really. Like, Jeremy Miner, he's like a sales trainer, sales coach. He's a big guy on tonality. You know him? Yeah. He's a big on tonality, and he's great at it. Like, he is one of the best salespeople in the world, maybe the best in the world, basically. So yeah, it can be trained, really, but you want to sound natural. You don't want to, you know, when you hop on a call, you don't want to become a new person, become a salesperson. You want to stay yourself, try to be as natural as possible, but think about tonality, think about tone of your questions. Vanya, if you're going to talk about this on the call, don't answer it. I honestly don't understand how you can ask someone for money during a call, because in my mind, people usually want to see results before they're willing to pay for something. Well, I'll go over that at the end of the script. Basically, you will see the script, and then I hope this will answer your question. All right. Any more questions, guys, before I hop in the script? Feels good? All right. So this is Closer framework. This is framework that I got from Hormozi. Like, this is a great framework. And later, guys, I'm going to send you the exact script that I was using, which is a little bit more advanced. But for every one of you, I suggest you use this exact framework, these exact things that I'm going to show you here. Maybe for Carl, Yeah, Carl's here. I saw that Carl has a little bit offer that's really like a transformation and really, really results based and all that. So I'm gonna tag you, bro, later in the Slack to, you know, when I send my exact script that I was using. Maybe he's the only person. I don't know all of your offers here, obviously, but he's the only guy that I know that could be using the script that I was using that would make perfect sense for that. But yeah, this is the framework that you want to use. So Closer framework from Hormozi. So what does a Closer framework says? So first you want to clarify why they're there, label them with a problem, overview past points, sell the vacation dream, explain away concerns, and reinforce the sale. So what these things basically mean? So first you want to clarify why are they on a call. What's the motivation to hop on a call? Let me actually walk through the script, and as I'm walking through the script, I'm going to explain all these things, guys. So first thing, before we even clarify why they're there, as soon as we hop on a call, you want to build some rapport. Now, this is important, but you don't want to spend more than 3 minutes on this, something like that. And you always want to take like 45-minute calls. This is like, in my opinion, in my experience, the perfect time for you to have a sales call. Like shorter than that is too short, longer than that is too long, you know. 45 minutes for me is a perfect, you know, the duration of the call. But yeah, first thing you want to have is you want to build a little bit of rapport. So what's the point here is just to kind of, you know, leave a good first impression. That's what we're trying to do here. So when you hop in, you want to be high energy. You're not excited. Why would they be? You know, if you're just hopping like you're sleepy like this, what do you expect from them? To be energized and excited that they're going to start working with you. You want to, you know, leave a good first impression. So what do we say basically? What's the report? So, you know, yo, what's up, my man? What's up, Philip, Jovan, Vasilij? What's up, guys? You know, something like that. How's the week doing so far? The thing here is you don't want to ask stupid questions like, how's the weather or something like that, because those guys probably also know about the report and all those things. You just want to sound natural and like a genuine dude. You don't want to start with, how's the weather for you? Like, you really don't care how's the weather for them. They know that you're just asking them because you saw that in some sales training on the internet or something like that. So just be natural, be genuine, you know, just start a call. How's the week going so far, dude? If he says, good, what about you? Good. I was actually just say what you were actually just doing, recording YouTube video, editing for some of my clients, you know, whatever. And then you transition to, great. Well, I know we have limited time here. So you're good if you just jump in, you know, got something to take notes with, some sheet of paper. Your tone always needs to be here in the first beginning of the call before we even get into discovery, basically, which is that starts with clarify why they're there. You want to feel, you know, excited, energized, and all those things just to set a good foundation for the call. Any questions on rapport so far? Give me a thumbs up if
yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So basically, if you just say like, how's the week going? You just ask that one question and just move on. Like, and then you say like, yeah, I know your time's limited. So, would you be good with starting, or how would you do that transition to the sales call from the like from the basic questions? How would you do the transition to the normal sales call?
Yeah. So what you're asking here is like, I just ask one question. Like, what's exactly your question here?
Yeah. So basically, how would you transition from the normal questions to the sales call? Would you just like ask that one question, then say like the what you wrote down there, or how would you do it?
Yeah, exactly like this. Like, you just hop on a call. Yo, what's up, my man? What's up, Jovan? How's it going, dude? How's the week going so far for you, dude? And you say, yeah, man, amazing, busy, you know, some whatever. What about you? And I say, good, bro. I was actually just making a fire sales training for my community, you know, something like that. You just, as you answer the question, he will say, great, man, love to hear that. And you just transition like literally, great. Well, I know we're time limited here, so you're good if you just jump in, you know, just cutting straight to the business, because he also wants to do that. You know, he just knows that it's kind of like a, you know, thing when you hop on a call, you need to, you know, say a word or two to each other, you know, some sentence that's kind of gonna fill up that time to just start off the call. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any more questions on report? All good? All good. All right. Well, after we finish the report, after we jumped in, basically, you want to set up the frame for the call. So this is basically explaining what the call is going to be about, setting the frame of the call, what's going to happen throughout the call. This is super simple. You just want to sound certain here, like you know what you're doing. So, gotcha. So what I found to work best on these calls is first diving deeper into your actual business, like what's your model, what exactly do you do, how's that working so far, and ultimately what you feel are some of the biggest challenges or problems you're facing right now. Now, once we get some clarity there, if we can help, that's great. I'm ready to walk you through how we're going to do it. And if not, we can figure out whatever else is best. That cool with you? You know, you just want to set the frame for the call. So basically you want to say, I'm going to first ask you a couple questions to figure out where are you at the business? What are you trying to do? What are your problems? See if I can help. If I can't help, because that's also an option here. If we can't help, we're just going to try to point them into the right direction. And if we can't help, we're going to get you rolling towards the end of the call. Sounds cool? Sounds cool. Any questions on that? Super simple, but maybe you have some questions. All good. All right. Now, once we do report, once we finish with the report, once we set the frame of the call, we want to actually get into the call, into the discovery, the most important part of the call. So you want to first clarify why are they there? This is super important. So questions would sound something like, what made you come in today? What made you reach out? What's your main goal right now? Now, obviously, you're not going to be asking with this tone. You want to genuinely sound interested, genuinely curious, because I guess you actually are. Like you're hopping on a call with a person who's a potential client of yours that's going to be paying you thousands and thousands of dollars. I guess you're actually curious what made him hop on a call with you. Question can also be, what was kind of the main motivation to hop on this call today with me? What we're trying to do here is figure out why are they here. So what's kind of the goal that they're trying to achieve? What's kind of the pain that they're trying to run away from? What was the motivation to hop on a call here? And you really want to dig into this. So if they say something stupid like, and this will happen 100%, but if they say something stupid like, yeah, bro, I'm just trying to get some more information, something like that. And if you say, yeah, bro, all right, so here's what we do, you will never close a deal like that. You want to figure out exactly why are they there. If they say something stupid, as I said, like, I'm just trying to figure out some, information about what you do and all that, you say, yeah, but why? Why do you want to learn more about what I do? Like, I'm sure you don't hop on calls all day just figuring out what other people do, just trying to, gather more information. Like, why do you want to do it? What's the problem that you want to solve? What's the goal that you're trying to reach? Did you guys have any experience with sales at all? Like, yeah, you had. What about other guys? Yeah, guys, leave one in chat if you hopped on a sales call at least once, and leave 2 in the chat if you have no experience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much nearly everyone. We only have Muhammad that never joined the call. A sales call, I mean. Yeah. All right. So, like, do you guys had any experience with anything of what I'm saying right now? Like them saying stupid things, like just trying to figure out more information, just trying to see what you do and all that? Positive? Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to add on to that. Like, if you want to avoid people giving you stupid answers to that, just ask them what specifically made you come in today. Or you can just ask, what specific goal are you looking to achieve out of this call, out of your content? Just add that word specific, and it's probably going to solve most problems.
Yeah. As I said, you just really want to ask, like, what's what's your main motivation for hopping on this call today? Like, what made you hop on a call? And he's gonna say, yeah, I wanna have better content. And then you can get into, why? Why do you wanna have better content? Like, do you wanna have more people come into the program for your content, have higher converting content, or did you just see someone with nice content and you wanna have nice content as well? What's kind of the reason behind what you want? You really wanna dig into this, as I said, because if you don't get the right problem here, later we will just be digging deep into something that's not actually their actual real problem. So when I say clarify why they're there, as I said, this is not only one question, like, why are you here? And he says, I want to have better looking content. All right, fine. You want to dig deeper into this. You want to figure out why do they want it? Why is that important to them? All those things, because when you figure out why is that important to them, why do they want it, you can actually use that later against them. And I'm not saying like this was a wrong word, not against them, but you can actually use that later to help them make the first step into the right direction, whether that's working with you or not working with you. That makes sense. Any questions on clarifying why they're there? All good. Everyone knows how to clarify why are potential clients on a call. All right. Second thing, after we clarify why are they there, you want to label them with the problem. Now, this is also key here because you might think, well, they already know what are their problem. Why would I repeat that to them? But you want to do this because you need to label them with the problem and them to agree with you that that's their problem. So to give you an example, let's say they came in and what's kind of the main motivation to hop on a call? And they say, I want to have better content. Why do I want to have better content? Because I saw that organic content is important and I can get more people into my program from that organic content, and all that. And you say, well, I saw that you already have organic content. Isn't that performing well already? No, it's not. Why do you think that is? Because I don't know. My messaging is off. I don't know what to talk about in my content. I'm just giving you an example here so you can fathom what I'm talking about here. My messaging is wrong. I don't know what to talk about in content. I don't have time to create better content and all those things. So in the end, you want to say, all right, so I can see here that the problem you're struggling here is creating better content to get more people into your program or whatever the reason, whatever the pain was there. When you say that, you want them to basically confirm that, to say, yeah, that's the thing that I'm trying to solve. Because the thing here is, if they actually agree to that, if they actually label themselves with the problem, you can actually solve the problem. Like, to give you an example, like I heard this from Hormozi, like we can't cure your cancer if you don't admit that you have cancer. This is, not the best example, but it's kind of, you first need to admit that you have the problem so that we can then go and solve that actual problem later. So that's the thing with label within the problem. Sounds clear? Any questions on that?
Yeah, like this is probably a reason that for example, if you do the first step didn't do right, but what would you do if somebody said like no, for example? So if you ask them like yeah, I see your problem is that, but no, like
got it. Great question. That's also one of the sales fundamentals that I needed to include here that I forgot. Great question. The thing there is, what you want to master in sales is to listen to people. You actually want to listen to them well and actually figure out what's their problem. Actually figure out what are they thinking about. Because, it goes back to the thing that I said, you really want to figure out what's their problem actually. Because later if they say no, then you're in a weird situation when you're like, no, because you were convinced that that was it. You need them here to say yes, basically. You want to make sure that you listen to them correctly. You ask right questions, like right follow-up questions, like why is that important to you? Why do you want to do that? Why now? What changed for you? What shifted for you that you want to do it now and not 6 months from now? All those questions to figure out exactly what do they want to do and what's their problem. So once you say, so it sounds like this is your problem, you want them to say, yes, that's correct. If that, does that answer the question? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with sales is, and this is for a lot of people, and this might sound like a minor thing to you, but this is a major thing. You want to learn how to listen to people, and this is harder than you think, trust me, because when you have a person and you're asking so much questions, he's giving you so much answers are unclear and all that, it's really hard to listen to them and actually figure out what's their problem. But you want to learn how to do it. And how do you learn? By doing, as always. All right. Once we label them with a problem, once we know that they actually have a problem, we want to overview their past points. So this is, again, digging deeper into that pain and figuring out what situation are they currently in. So what have you tried so far to accomplish this? If this is so important goal, I'm sure you already tried to accomplish this goal or to get away from this pain. Like, what have you tried? How long were you be trying that for? How long ago have you tried? How did that work for you? Have you worked with anyone else with this? Have you tried working with anyone else with this? It's kind of like figuring out what are all the things they did in the past and how do they feel about those things that they did in the past. So if they say, yeah, I already worked with an agency similar to you, you want to say, all right, and how did that went? You want to listen here very, very closely, very precisely, because you actually do not want to repeat the same things that previous agency did to make him leave that agency, basically, you know? So if he says, yeah, they were good at this, but this was terrible, I hated it, and that's why I stopped working with them. You want to listen to those things. You want to make sure that you do not do them and you do not mention them. Now, obviously, if your agency is as bad as that agency, it's not the problem in sales, it's the problem in your actual team and your actual business, you know. But all of these things, as I said, again, I'm repeating this, can be solved if you have everything before sales set up in place. If you have people already knowing how you do stuff, what you do, how you do it, what are the results you got to other people, what's the proof you have, you don't know, you don't have to be like a nuclear physicist to figure out what's their problem, where do they want to go, because they already know what they do and what can you help them with. You have a lot warmer people on the call. But with already past points, as I said, what we want to do here, we want to figure out what they actually tried in the past, what worked for them, what didn't. If they say, yeah, I already tried this and it worked perfect, and you say, if it worked perfect, why didn't you continue with that option? Like, if it worked perfect, why stop? And then he'll say, oh, actually, it didn't work perfect. Here's what really happened. I'm just giving examples here. Any questions on overviewing past points, past pain points? Or is it all clear? Like, what questions you need to ask? What's the point with it? All clear. All right. When we finish this, we're basically going towards the end of the discovery here. So which means that this right here, all the things that we did here are going to make or break our sale. This is super important because all the objections that come later, if they come, they're going to come because you messed up something somewhere here. You messed something. You didn't include that question. You didn't ask it properly. Somewhere along discovery, you messed up, and that's why they have an objection later. And you want to, when you're also, guys, you always want to record your calls, all of your calls. This is super important. When you record all of your calls, and whether you make a sale or not, you want to rewatch those calls, figure out what are the things you could have said better. And if you actually made a close, figure out what are the things that you actually did good that actually led to that sale. But analyzing yourself here is super important because that's the only way to grow here. You're not going to become better simply just by hopping on more calls. That's not going to happen. You actually need to analyze your work in order to then later become better. So Once we come to the end of discovery here, and we go to the S part, which is basically selling the dream or the vacation, selling the vacation. Here is where the pitch basically begins. Now, sweet dude, based off everything what you said so far, I definitely think we can help. Now, all the way through discovery, when you're asking questions, your tone, you want your tone to be curious, confused, not sure, genuine, actually worried, actually asking them questions and wanting to know the answer. When you go to this part, you want to switch from uncertain tone, from curious, uncertain tone to a certain tone. Sweet dude, based off everything you've said so far, I think we can definitely help. You want to sound certain here. That's the main point. And obviously, if they're trying to solve a problem that your offer solves, obviously, do not say we can definitely help if throughout the discovery you figured out that they're not good fit, you can't help them, they're trying to achieve something else, something you can't deliver on. Do not say we can definitely help. Here, if that's the case, you will just say, yeah, bro, based on everything what you said, I don't think it's the best option for us to work right now, and all those things. It's not the best option to start working with you right now because of this, and that. And you can see, if you actually do this once, you can see how the prospect immediately starts trying to sell himself to you. Yeah, bro, but tell me the offer and then maybe it's going to be good, maybe it's not. Let me figure out actually if we can work together. You didn't tell me anything. You just want to, cut it here. If you figured actually out that you're not a good fit, just say it. We're not a good fit. There's no point in us wasting time trying to tell the offer and all those things and then handle all the objections that you're going to have. Basically, we're going to just lose 30 minutes of our time trying to do something that I immediately know that's not going to work. But yeah, so sweet dude, based on everything what you said so far, I can say that we can definitely help. And then you just want to, mind if I start to explain how the program works and how it might help you solve the problem they have, the problem you figured out they have. You can also ask here, sweet dude, based off everything you said, we can definitely help you out. You want to say that with certain tone. And then you can say, yeah, dude, so what do you want to do now? Like, I can walk you through the entire process of A to Z of how we can help if you'd like, but what do you want to do now? Like, what do you want? And then they will tell you, yeah, bro, can you, walk me through the entire process A to Z? Because by doing that, you're making them feel like they're in the control of the call, but you're actually in the control. That makes sense. Any questions on that so far?
So I had a questions of the one before. I'm not sure if I got it. Like, what's the reason you asked them for a few the problems that before that, just to like avoid repeating them, or why do you overview
For
those
this?
task points? Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're trying to dig deeper into their pain. That's one of the things. So what you want to do here, guys, always, you want to think about this as about this entire sales thing. We're trying to help people. That's what we're trying to do. In order to help people, we need to motivate them to take the first step towards their best direction. How do we motivate them? Either by desire or by pain. Pain is better motivator. We want to go with pain. That's why we're trying to dig deeper into pain, to figure out what are the things they did, what are the things they tried. If, for example, they were working with someone similar to us, what are the things they didn't like, trying to remind them, for them to actually think about all those experiences. Like, he was trying to figure out the pain. You can also ask, yeah, bro, it seems like you've been trying to solve this for the last 6 months. Like, what's kind of thing that's keeping you still motivated to solve this? Like, is it so important to you? Just trying to figure out all the things, trying to dig deeper into pain to remind them of all the experiences they had trying to solve this pain, because that makes it bigger. Make sense?
Yeah. So basically make them realize how big the problem is that they have.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Any more questions on that before we hop into the actual pitch? Nada. All right. Guys, with the pitch, the thing here is you don't want to make this too long. Like this should be like 3 to 5 minutes max. And the great way to do pitch is, I heard like how Hormozi did it. It's a great way. I didn't do it myself personally, but it's a great way to do it. Is you always want to think about the 3 main things that you will do for them. 3 main things that are going to get them to the result. And you want to make sure that you actually have 3 things. Like, do not go with 4 or 5 or 2. 3 is the best number. Like it's like basically wired in our brain, like in a psychology, that when we hear 3 things, it's easiest for us to, remember them, figure out how that's going to look like and all those things. So you want to actually have 3 things. For example, to give you a fitness example, let's say you want to get to the fitness goal, and what you're going to give to them basically to get to their goal is accountability, training, planned training, and nutrition. Makes sense. So what you want to say, instead of saying we're going to give you accountability, so for accountability, we're going to hop on coaching calls and you will need to send 1 message every single day and all those things of what you did and all the things, because all these things sounds like work, like hard. And they don't care, literally. They only care about the result. So instead of telling them what are you going to do to get them the result, you want to tell some kind of anecdotal story that's going to make them understand how that's going to look like. For example, this is a great example from Hormozi. So for accountability, you're going to say, so to repeat, we have 3 things to, my lot just died. But yeah, can you guys still see me? Yeah, all right. So for accountability, we have 3 things for fitness, like goal. You have accountability, plan, and nutrition. For accountability, instead of saying we're going to hop on coaching calls and all that, you're going to say, when you were like a little kid and your parents were always telling you to go to brush your teeth, even if you're already in your bed, and you will then just go and brush your teeth and then go back to sleep and all that. And now you're adult, you're still brushing your teeth. So what happened there, basically, you had an external thing ingrain an internal habit into you. And that's what we're going to do here. So that's kind of an example of kind of like a story that's going to make them understand what you're going to do. So as you can see, we didn't mention the coaching calls and the accountability messages and all those things. None of that. We just let them know a story so they actually know what are they getting. Make sense? That's a great way to do it. Now, what you want to make sure is actually before the call to have all the stories prepared, because when you get here to the pitch part, like this is your field, your part. You don't want to sound uncertain here and confused. You want to sound certain here. You exactly know what you're doing. So if you're going with stories, prepare them before the call. Now, this is the way that I was doing it. So basically, you want to also have like 3 main pillars to get them where they want to go. And you want to say the feature, logical benefit they will get, emotional benefit they will get if possible, and optional is a consequence. So most of the time I was just going with logical benefit, because like the higher you go, let's say this is a scale and this is the scale of people making money. The lower you go, the less money people make, the more you go towards B2C, selling to customers, you want to include that emotional benefit. The higher you go up the scale and you're talking to business owners making more and more money, you just want to give them, the logical benefit that they will get from this. We'll watch this later. Yeah, bro. Yeah. So the higher you go, the more money people make, you want to go more logical. The less money people make, you want to go more emotional, if that makes sense. So here's my example from the offer that I was doing. First thing is strategy. So we'll set up a strategy on how to post how many videos you want a month, how to get them, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to do this so that you get a bunch of clarity and clear roadmap on how to actually scale with content and not just post pointlessly and look like everyone else. So we have feature, what we're going to do, what you're going to get. Then we repeat. Second thing, team. We're going to handle everything, do this, bam, bam, bam. So you're not dependent on any agency or on me. Everyone can go, and you smile there. you have the team with you. That's what you want to do. So basically, what we're gonna do, logical benefit of the thing they're gonna get. Third thing, systems. So everyone knows what they do. We're gonna give you the system so that everyone knows, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows what they do. You'll implement all the content, schedulers to make sure everything's flowing smoothly. So basically, logical like feature, the thing we're gonna do, the thing you're gonna get. The thing we're gonna do, the thing you're gonna get. But you wanna think about benefits here. You don't wanna say you'll get a content scheduler. That's not the benefit for them. That's a feature. They're gonna get a scheduler. Benefit is so they don't waste time trying to manage content. That's just an example. Any questions on pitch so far? Give me a thumbs up, guys. All clear? All clear. All right. Guys, for you that don't have cameras turned on, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. As soon as you see them, I'm going to answer them. Let's roll. So after we finish with our basically pitch, explaining the benefits they're going to get, we want to go to delivery part. And this right here is more like a logistics side, you know? So in every offer, we have the benefits and we have the logistics. So logistics are all the things that are going to happen, you know, kind of like logistical things about an offer, not the benefits they're getting, but logistical things actually. How is that going to look like? How are we going to achieve those benefits? So first you want to ask them if they have Panos, my man. What's up? Good to have you here.
Yo, man, I actually joined today. Happy to be here.
Yeah, dude. We started 1 hour ago. Never mind staying here.
I had another call and yeah, I said,
yeah, dude, no worries. We're going to have the recording of this. All right, let me continue. So yeah, you want to first ask, do they have any questions on this? So when you explain each pillar, you want to make sure that you ask, all clear, sounds good, sounds fair, just to confirm that they actually understood what you were talking about. You want to make sure that you have that. And after that, you go to the delivery part. And you say, so to build all this stuff out and get you everything you need is going to take 5 weeks. We're going to this. And you want to oversimplify here. Like, do not go into the details of what's going to happen and all that. Just lay out how logistically is that process going to look like. So for me, it was, once you enroll, we're going to add you to the Slack channel, hop on a clarity call, hop on a branding call. We're going to start training editors, forming the team. After that, we're going to get the strategy and show and give you the systems to manage all of them. And that's it. You know, you just want to make it simple. You don't want to overwhelm them with exactly how that's going to look like and lay out every single step along the way. Does that make sense? He says, yes. If you have something like this, like they're not linking out to your editor, seeing how everything works, tracking, blah, blah, blah. You have 4 weeks of ongoing support. After that, it's not only with us anymore. You're not dependent. You can go crush it with the team. Make sense? Makes sense. After you finish with the pitch, we're going to the committing phase, basically. First thing you want to do is temp check here. So just curious, in terms of the process specifically, how do you feel? So you're asking them, how do they feel about the process you currently laid out? Now, again, as I said, you want to make sure that as you're going through the process, you're asking if they have any questions, so that they not forgot them. And then later, after you drop the price, they're like, yeah, but what about this? You want to make sure that you actually answer all of their questions before you continue. Then you ask, curious in terms of the process specifically, how do you feel? You also want to listen to a tone here. So not only to the words, but also to the tone. If you have a certain answer and certain tonality, you move on. If you have uncertain answer and or uncertain tonality, then you need to figure out the alignment. So if you ask in terms of the process specifically, how do you feel? And he says, feels great, dude. Feel amazing. Yeah, love the process. Certain tone, certain tonality, you can move on. If he says, yep, I feel good. Yeah, feel good. You know, it's a certain answer, but it's uncertain tone. So you want to figure out the alignment. Is everything all right? How do you do that? You say, here ya, just to totally be clear, what's really important to me is alignment. So when you come in and work with us, I mean, our team is all in. If you don't have team, you can say I'm all in. So it's really important to me that you feel good about the process. Know what I mean? So just to be clear, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I never wanna even consider this process, and 10 being like this is exactly what I need. Where do you feel you fall exactly? Again, you want to listen to a tone and to an answer. If he says something below 8, you want to ask, gotcha, man, appreciate you being honest about that. Just curious, what exactly do you think is keeping you from being an 8, 9, or 10? You know, again, you want to listen to the tone. If they say a certain 8, you know, it's all right. Just say, appreciate you being honest about that. That's it. After that, after the temp check, you ask, do you have any questions? Is it all good? He says, no, all good. Gotcha. So feel good, no questions. So what's next? You want to ask him here. So what's next? Like, where do you feel you want to go from here? And he's going to tell you, yeah, bro, what's the price for all this? You know, and you can, say, haha, the fun part or something like that. And then you will just say, so yeah, the next steps, you lay out the next steps, like the first next step that are going to happen after the payment. The next step after we take over the investment, from there, I'll add you to the Slack channel and schedule a clarity call. This was my example. You input here whatever it's your system. Slack channel and schedule clarity call. And yeah, then from there, we're ready to roll. And the investment to get you all that is just 4,800. And you shut up. After you drop a price, you just shut up. Don't say a word after that. Why do we do that? After you drop a price, just let them sink in. Let them think about the price, because they're going to be thinking about things, calculating things. After you drop the price, just shut up. Let them think. Let them talk first. Never talk first after the price. Even if like the quietness becomes, too unnerving, just shut up. They will talk after the price. After they figure things out, calculate things, they will ask you, or they will either say, all right, bro, let's do it. Sounds great. Or as I gave you the example earlier, he's going to say, bro, you should charge more than that, which is a good sign. Or they will ask some questions, basically come up with the objections. Any questions on this so far? I'm sure you have questions for the end. No questions? All good?
Yeah, I have a question. If they say like no, or just trying to object you with something to try to change the price or something, you are staying with your price. That's what I
Yeah.
consider. Yeah,
Yeah,
but what is the next step?
What is the next step?
Yeah, what are
Price
you
part, yeah.
saying to them?
What do you mean? Like for this part, or after they say, all right, let's do it?
No, after they said like maybe you could just drop it a little bit,
Yeah.
price and stuff.
Need to quit me at the moment. All right, Ayush, bro. Yeah, so after they say something like that, first thing, what we want to try to do is to do not have them say that, obviously. How do we do that? By having brand authority and by having all the things before sales call set up in place. Because if you have the brand, if they know what you do, how you do it, what's the proof you have, they're not going to ask those questions. They already know what do you do and all that. And the thing with price, can you drop it a little bit down or that? The only reason they're saying that is because they do not see the value for the price you're giving. They do not see the value for the price you're giving. They do not feel like they're getting a good deal. To give you an example, if I say, I'm going to give you the Ferrari, but it costs $250,000, like, normal price for Ferrari, you're going to be, okay, I don't have that money. That's it. But if I say, I'm going to give you the Ferrari, and it costs $10,000, I'm sure that you'll be running to banks, to friends, to family, trying to get from anyone that kind of money because you know you're getting a great deal. If you're getting a new Ferrari for 10K, you will figure out a way to get that money because you can immediately after that sell it for much, much, much higher price. Now that's example of a physical thing, but you get the point. If you have the value, mismatch the price, they're gonna say something like, can you lower it down a bit or something stupid like that. So when they say that, you're already like in a red zone. Like that's kind of the thing that we want to escape always. We never want to have someone say, can you lower down the price? If that happens, you say, no, this is my price. And you stay with it. Even if you do not close the deal and you could have, just say no. Because if you actually say, all right, I'm going to give you the discount, we're going to do it for less than I actually wanted to do it, he's going to, like, through the entire time of your relationship, look at you like, from the top, and he's going to see like the guy he can control and do whatever he wants with it. It's going to be terrible. Like, it's not going to be a good client relationship. And we're actually trying to work with the clients that actually want to work with us. How do we do that? By getting good people on the call and qualified people on the call. As Philip said in the beginning of the call, if you get a person who's making 100K a month and you tell him that you're going to edit, I don't know, I'm just giving some stupid example here, but you're going to edit 30 videos in that and that style for $1,000. He does not care, Obviously, he wants to get a good deal, obviously, but, he's not going to be like, yeah, can you lower that down to 900? Something stupid like that, It's kind of, getting a good people on the call. We want to prevent that. That makes sense.
Yeah. And when do you find like their financial status? Like inside the call, or are you doing research before the actual call?
Yeah, so you want to do it before the call. You can also do it inside the call, but it's always better to have it before the call and also in the call. So in the call, when you're asking questions in discovery, you can ask something like, for example, so let's start with content. Let me just give you a quick example here. Let's say they want to get better content because they want to scale more with content because they're currently not where they want to be. And you ask, all right, where are you right now? And he's going to say, yeah, we're currently making 5K a month and we want to get to 30 with content, just give me an example. But that's how you can figure out where are they financially in the call. But you want to do that before the call, preferably to already know. Like, you're never going to know exactly where they are because they can lie. You're not going to be able to find it exactly, before the call and all that. But that's how you do it.
But how do you find it? Through their content or?
Yeah, so on your Calendly, where are they going to be booking the call? You want to have a list of questions saying like, kind of to give you like explanation so that you already know who you're hopping on a call with. So you want to have, I'm going to drop the questions like in the community. So you're going to have like, what do you do in your business? Where are you currently at in your business? And you're going to leave a couple options, between 5 to 10K a month, between 10 and 20, between 20 and 50 and 50 plus. If they're above 50 plus, you do not care if it's like 70 or 120, to you, it's the same thing basically.
Yeah, and assume that you make the deal before the actual call, like your price and.
Yeah. You want to have the price like before the call, obviously. So you go in the call knowing what's the price and what's the offer that you're going to give to them.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Vanya, are we going to get to part where we ask them to pay us? Yeah, bro. I mean, I just explained that. Can I ask them to pay us? You're not asking them to pay us. You're just saying, that this is how much it costs to get the result you want.
No, I meant to ask a question because you were talking and
Oh, yeah.
So, is it a good idea to have like two offers, to present him two offers, one more premium and one more like more low ticket, more medium ticket?
I wouldn't suggest you so. Like, I would say no, because in the beginning you want to stay with one offer, only one offer. Once you scale one offer and you get proven one offer, then you can start with another offer. Because if you have only one offer, you can focus on only getting the right people for only that offer, you know, and you can figure out the pitch for that, the service for that, the systems for that, how you can get the best results for that offer. Once you dial that in and you get it to 10, 20, 50K a month, then you can move to another offer. You basically want to stay with one offer and one funnel until 1 million, basically.
Okay, yeah, I see. To have a better organization and a plan.
Sorry, what was that?
To have like a better plan and a better organized everything.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, bro. I understood that you're literally asking them to pay the invoice during the call. So that part is confusing for me. Like what's confusing, bro? Like if you can unmute, that would be great. But thing here is, as I said, we're hopping on a call. In pre-call process, you want to say, like, I don't know if you watched pre-call process or not module, but in pre-call process, you want to say that this is a decision-making call. Basically, they're going to be hopping on this call, and on this call, they're making the decision. Like whether or not they're going to be working with you or not. That's what we want to do here. Because if they say, yeah, bro, let me think about it and let's book another call for 3 days and then I'll see. And you say, all right, let's do it. Like 80% of the time, you will never, ever hear from them back again. Ever. You want to always exclude that option. If that's the only option, yes, you can do it. But just keep in mind that 80% of the time, you will not close. He will not even get to a follow-up call, let alone close him. But yeah, it can happen, but most of the time it won't. Yeah, understood. Love to hear that, bro. So as I said, it's about setting right expectations. In the pre-call process, you say that this is going to be a decision-making call and all those things. And when you hopped on a call, I don't know if you missed that part, when I was talking about framing the call, you want to say that. Figure out exactly what they do, what's the business and all that. And then once we get some clarity help, if we can help, great. I'm ready to walk you through how we're going to do it. Or you can say, we're going to get you rolling towards the end of the call. So basically saying them that if it's a good fit, you will start working together towards the end of the call. It's about setting expectations right. And they already know it. Like if you're actually talking with good people who you should be talking to on the sales calls, they know how the sales work. They know that it's going to be 99% one call close and that they're going to be making a decision there. And if you come in the call and be like, yeah, we can book another one, it's not going to work well. Like 2 call close, you can have 2 call close, but that's like completely different strategy. Everything's different, 10 times more complicated. Only like the big guys do like the 2 call close. 1 call close is, my opinion, the best. But yeah. Any questions, guys? Nothing? All good? All right. So after they answer to this, so as I said, you're going to say, yeah, and from there, we're ready to roll. And then the investment to get you all that is just, and you say the price. This is the price that I was saying. A little tip here. Instead of saying 5K or 4,800, you can say 4,800. It sounds a little bit less, even though it's not. But, you know. But yeah, after they answer to that, if they say no and they say some objection, then you want to go into objection handling, which we'll cover on another call. But if they say yes, what do you do then? You want to reinforce the decision, basically the last step of closer framework, reinforce their decision. If they say, yes, fuck it, let's do it, or anything of that sort, awesome, dude, let's roll. Let me ask you just, what sort of pushed you over the edge to do it, to do this, like to commit? What's kind of the thing that actually made you make that decision? What we're doing here is basically forcing themselves to sell themselves into the program, into their decision. And they're going to give you the answer like, yeah, dude, this is exactly what I was looking for all these months. And you seem so genuine and I like you and I like your style. And, I'm just giving you an example, but, we're trying to reinforce their decision to kind of get them to resell again. Because after this thing, what we're going to do is we're going to drop a payment link in the chat. And payment link, what's a payment link? Basically, on your payment processor, you will generate a payment link and you copy and paste payment link in the chat. You want to make sure that you have payment link before the call so that on the call, you can just, copy and paste it. And you want to make like from this part, if they say yes, you want to make process as seamless, as fast, as smooth as possible. Because if they say yes, and after you ask them to basically resell themselves into the program, and then it takes you 10 minutes to get the payment link, and then, I don't know, something like that, it takes you too much time, you're not sure, he's going to be rethinking the thing he just did. And he's going to be like, so yeah, I'm going to be spending this much money on this guy for this amount of time. And he's going to be like, bro, actually, let me actually think about this a bit more. I need a little bit more time to think about this clearly. And you're going to end up not closing the deal. So after they say yes, if they say yes, you want to make process seamless, smoothless, fast, clean. You just send the payment link, they pay, and then you go into the onboarding process, which I covered in onboarding module. Yeah. Any questions on this so far?
Yeah, I have for this last step.
Yeah.
When you say like what sort of pushed you over the edge to commit, isn't that giving them second thoughts maybe? Like when you once not push them, but they said yes, and you're like asking
telling
them again,
them to rethink the process.
Yeah, to rethink the process.
Yeah, it makes sense what you're saying, but it's not exactly that. Because they already said yes. You're just asking them. You need to be excited here. Like, all right, bro, love to hear that. Like, what's kind of the thing that just curious. What's kind of the thing that pushed you over the edge? And he's gonna say, if he's actually genuinely excited and about working with you, he's gonna say, yeah, bro, this is the thing that pushed me over the edge. And then you go to the payment link. If they are like 100% certain and all that, you can just go straight to payment link. This is just a nice way to make them reinforce their decision. But if you already have a payment link ready, you can just send it in a second. When he says, yeah, bro, let's do it, you just send the payment link and then you continue. But this is a great way to resell them, make them resell themselves, basically. Because once you do that, they're going to be sold a lot more, if that makes sense, because they literally convince themselves why do they choose to work with you.
What's the best strategy to follow? Like it has happened to me one time and in a friend of mine, like when it's not possible to pay immediately after. For example, if he does not have the money in the bank or his credit is not working right now, what's the best way to make sure that in the next days he's not going to have any second thoughts and he's not going to come up saying, you know what, I thought about again, baby, it's not the right decision. You get me?
Yeah, got it. So what you want to do here is you want to not try to solve that, but prevent that from happening. How do we do that? In the pre-sales process, again, you want to make clear that this is a decision-making call. If it makes sense, we will moving forward towards the end of the call. So that way you're preparing them to figure all that shit out before the call. You don't want them to come into call, because if that happens, you can't do anything there. If he literally has no money in his bank account, nothing works, you literally can't do anything. You just have to do, all right, let's follow up for tomorrow. And you know that in 90% of the cases, it's not going to end up as a close. So we actually want to prevent that from happening in pre-sales.
Another question, like this is not as much related. Do we get these all this document because yeah, I missed a lot of part of the call.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, you will get the
Because
recording
yeah,
of this and
I
all the
joined today.
yeah. The entire doc and the recording of this after the call. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, guys, and that's it. That's how you do sales. Now, after this, there's also a big part, which is objection handling. What if they say no to this? But currently we don't have time. I don't want to make this like a 3-hour call or something like that where we go into everything. I also got to run for another call. But yeah, this is pure gold. Love to hear that, bro. Glad that you liked it. Yeah. And after this, as I said, objection handling comes into place. What if he says, yeah, sounds good, but I need to think about it? Because that's gonna happen as well. How do you handle that? But we will cover that on another call. But yeah, guys, anything regards this script or the entire process, the fundamentals I shared in the beginning, anything about that? Do you have any questions on that?
I just have a question. I'm not sure if you covered it before I came in the call
Mhm.
or in the module, but what do you do before sales call? Like, do you prepare something, like accept the payment link and everything, but do you prepare something about the person, or how do you do it?
When you say before the call, what do you mean? Like before, like 15 minutes before the call, or between them booking a call and you hopping on a call?
Yeah. So yeah. So basically preparing for the call. So like really, like
Yeah.
not 50 minutes, but the process before it.
Yeah. So you want to implement the entire like pre-sales process. Like we have a module on that in client acquisition course. The entire module, like you want to set up the reminders, you want to send them a pre-call video and all those things to prepare them for a call. That's how you prepare them. Like a lot of reminders on their email and their phone number, and you want to send a voice note on their Instagram to make sure that they actually hop on a call prepared, knowing what to expect in a call. That's what you do between booking a call and hopping on a sales call.
Right. Thank you.
In the community and the value is so crazy, man. 67 was the deal. Yeah, bro. Love to hear that. All right, boys. If you don't have any last questions, this was a bit longer one, usually as all the trainings are, but I think it was valuable for you. It was worth the time. And yeah, if you don't have any last questions, we'll wrap it up. All good? All right, boys. Have a great day, bro. See ya. It's a pleasure talking to you all, and I'll see you next call.
See you.
See ya, boys.
See you.